everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Yes, sir.
And this is show number 58, and the Dogs are now 1-0 on the 2023 college football season.
Boom.
Boom.
Love it, man.
Yeah. Adam, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, Clark. Feeling good, man. Always good to get back in Sanford Stadium. Say it every year. It's a blessing to be back. One more year getting to enjoy Georgia football, seeing all of our friends and our family there in Section 108. It's a very exciting time. Dogs are 1-0, ranked number one in the nation, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see this week, see what happens in practice this week, see another good game where you get out there and hopefully get some young guys in. Just get better each week, man. That's the name of the game in college football. It's just getting better each week, just taking each week as one game at a time and improving your record to 1-0 each week, Clark.
Yep.
And, man, it should be fun. It should be good. So I'm feeling good, excited, and a lot to talk about this episode. Am I right?
Absolutely. There is a lot we've got to break down.
Yes, sir.
First of all, talking a little bit more about the game day atmosphere. We'll start with that. And then we've got a really good weekly concession stands report. The first one of the season.
Yes.
And it's not even from Adam or I.
No, it's not.
It's from someone else.
That's right. That's right.
So then we'll have Clark's Fun Facts, Georgia's offense, Georgia's defense, Georgia's special teams against UT Martin, breaking that down, reviewing some stuff. Then we're going to preview the Georgia versus Ball State game this upcoming Saturday, some keys to the game for that game. We're going to talk about last week's games, this week's games, and the game of the week.
Oh, yeah.
So
ready for it.
Lots to talk about here, and hey, let's get this thing started.
Let's do it. Crank it up.
So, Athens. It was a glorious day yesterday in Athens, in Sanford Stadium. The weather was great, Adam. Was it not?
Right. You cannot beat that for Labor Day, opening day of college football in years past. It just felt like you were just melting. Yeah. 99 degrees out there, just everything. But I mean, it was just the perfect temperature. I feel like, especially for, like I said, a opening kickoff in early September. Man, it was beautiful. Had a little breeze, Clark. A little bit of that fall breeze kind of crept in a little bit yesterday, and especially when the sun went down. Man, night game. It was very exciting.
It was exciting. I was very proud of the amount of people that actually showed up, and student section was full. Even the one in the 300 level, sometimes that kind of tapers off the closer you go to the top of the stadium. But it was a very impressive showing by the Dogs. I think it
got there early, Clark.
Yeah,
got there early too, man. I mean, not a lot of people just pile trickling in at game time, man. It was a very, about 15, 20 minutes before kickoff. I was very impressed with the people that were already had their rear ends in the seats, Clark. And that's good. That's what you want to see every single game. Get there, soak in the atmosphere, man. Enjoy it. A lot of good pregame stuff goes on. So, get there, get in your seat, and watch some warm-ups. You can see a lot of just tidbits, just observing just who's out there, who's not, and kind of who's repping where too as well. And a lot of good stuff, and a lot of good nuggets, I should say.
Absolutely.
That you can unpack getting to the game early. So a lot of people, I think, took advantage of doing that Saturday, man. And I don't know, it's just a good buzz, man. A good buzz. Everybody's kind of feeling what Georgia is pursuing this upcoming year, and that is making history with the three-peat that we've talked about time and time again, Clark. And it's just a different feel this year, man. It was a different feel last year, but it's even more of a different feel this year, I would say.
Yeah. One of the advantages, Adam, to getting in the stadium early is visiting the concession stands.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with our weekly concession stands report, brought to you by one of our favorite Row 60 dogs, a patron, a DGD, Mr. Jim Wilcox from Florida.
Yes, sir.
So he's got a good one for us, and I'm just going to read word for word what he sent me and Adam. He said, I was able to meet, the gentleman's name was Alan Thomas. I think he was a concession stands manager, who asked us how our experience was as we were coming out of the line for our first trip through.
Just go ahead and meet the manager of the whole deal.
Right. We need him to listen to the podcast.
That's right. We need to interview him.
We need to get him on.
Talk about our concessions, man.
Yes. So Jim said first trip through was super fast, as there were not many people in line. All the staff was extremely pleasant and helpful. My second time through, I was approximately 100 people deep in line. 100.
I love the precision. I love the precision of it paints us a good picture.
Yes,
paints us a good picture.
It took only 8 minutes and 35 seconds from in line to the condiment station. Not bad at all. So that's pretty efficient right there. I got to be honest. I do like all the smaller grab-and-go setups throughout the stadium to refresh your beverages. Very convenient. And so he said, in order to share the full fan experience, we ran through the full menu. And I think he actually did.
I think he did.
because he's got some very detailed stuff on some Sanford Stadium food and items and the concession stands. This is a great report.
You know, when I asked him yesterday, I said, Jim, you should send in, just send in a little something. Let's know your experience with the concession stand. We're going to feature you on the concession stand report. And I didn't know he was going to be this committed.
Yes.
To it, this committed to it. So, Clark, tell the people what all he sampled yesterday.
I think he might have gotten the entire menu. He might have gotten one of everything.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else than just your standard Sanford Stadium concession stand menu. You know that the majority, there's some specialized carts with some glazed almonds or something out there, but for the generic, what most people are looking for when they come to a football game, he ran the table.
Yeah, so he's got 8 bullet points here. So first of all, he said the new cups are awesome. 10 out of 10. High quality construction and cool graphics honoring the back-to-back seasons. Number 2, the Nugget Ice, 10 out of 10. Very good, keeps your tasty beverage cold until the last drop and matched up to a nice selection of sodas to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Adam, hot dogs, 10 out of 10. Wow.
And he did get us a hot dog as well.
Sure did.
And I will say, I will add from my hot dog experience, they start off good, man. Start off good. It was a good hot dog right there. He got it at a good time, too. Always where you get your hot dogs for halftime, man. So he delivered it to us, I think, at the beginning of the second quarter. And I mean, it was perfect. It was perfect. Good temperature, good everything.
Absolutely. Cheeseburgers. Now, Adam, this is a little concerning here. And this is where Mr. Alan Thomas may need to be listening.
Okay, all right.
The cheeseburgers, he said, was a 2 out of 10.
Whoa.
He said, the patty in no way matches the quality found in the hot dogs and tasted like they were of low quality. That's disappointing.
That is disappointing.
But hey, that there's some room for improvement.
That's right. I mean, and what we've said this before, you just can't come out expecting week 1, everybody on the gate. And, the guy on the grill must have had an off day. Probably was overwhelmed, cooking a lot of patties, man. And one of them deals where, it's opening day.
The pressure just got to him, I think.
You'll have that, Clark.
You'll have
that, and it's just something that I think you'll see progress over the season, man. But, there's really no time to have a show and then try to work out the keys because you got 4 home games in a row, Clark. I mean, a good majority of your time to show out is right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not prepared now, man, you're really going to have to get it going.
So, do you think the grill master was just, you think like, what's his weekly routine look like in preparation for a Sanford Stadium Saturday where he's flipping burgers all day?
I don't know, man. It probably has to be some good wrist exercises, man. Rolling the wrist constantly,
right, stretching.
That's right. That's right. Really getting that dialed in, man, because I can imagine and I don't know how they prepare the hamburgers at Sanford State. I don't know if it is like a good classic high school Little League baseball game where you see the guy out back in the grill, really flipping the patties, man. And exactly, really, really giving it his all. So I'm not 100% sure. That might be the problem, Clark. There might not be a just good grilled hamburger out there and really get the full experience. And I've never got personally a hamburger from Sanford Stadium. So I wouldn't know, but I don't know if it's one that's got the good fat patty on it like you would get at a July 4th cookout or what some people I've got this past weekend at Labor Day grillings, where you can see the char marks on them, man. That's when you know you got good beef. Yeah, you got good beef, man. And I don't know the type of burger, what type of beef that Sanford Stadium now, has with their patties. Is it beef? Is it grass fed? Are they grain finished steers? I don't know. And that would be interesting to factor in as well. I mean, a lot of stuff that we don't have to know that we could recommend on a lot of variables from that. But I mean, I can't speak on a hamburger any time that I have been in Sanford Stadium to know. Yeah, to know. Right. So. I don't know.
Number 5, he said popcorn, 7 out of 10. Not quite to the expectation of a quality kernel like the movie theaters. And it seemed like the shelf life was a little old with a tinge of stale and a few handfuls.
That's surprising. Yeah, that's surprising. I mean, it should be very, very fresh and ready to go opening day.
Yeah. We had some issues with that last year.
We did.
But it got better.
It did progress. It did progress. I did not eat any popcorn yesterday. Still, they are coming in the cinema like movie reel on the side that, it's like, know where we're at. Slap a G. Get a black popcorn box with a G on it.
You charge an extra $2.
I mean, whatever you got to do. And again, I think you should have a green sticker on the bottom up where you could get one refill.
Boom.
And I think that's where your marketing product is, and where you would probably sell more popcorn is. don't cheap it out and just go up to the local Amstar and get a box of. I mean, we've addressed this, the buckets that have the reel on it, right? I mean, I want to see that when I'm going to go see a movie in the theater. But right now, I want a black box with a G on it. Or a bucket, excuse me, with a G on it, and then a sticker on the bottom. There should be a green sticker on the bottom of it that you have one refillable turn. If that
would be
still
good.
There.
That'd be a good idea.
It's my idea, man.
I mean, really, think about it. You have souvenir cups. Why not souvenir popcorn buckets? They have them at Disney World, and they sell them like crazy. Number 6, pretzels. 9 out of 10. Hot right out of the warmer. Large, crispy on the outside, and soft on the inside. The only drawback to keep it from a 10 was
we got a pretzel, too. I missed that.
Golly. It had too much salt for me, but nevertheless, it was still a quality pretzel, so that's good. Number 7, candy selections were a nice assortment for things. The candy was a nice assortment. And then number 8, nachos were 7 out of 10. Cheese was okay, a bit spicy, but expected, just not quite enough for all the chips. So, very, very thorough concession stands report. He said, overall, I would give today's experience a solid 9 out of 10. In regards to the whole concession stand game day experience, I hope you all enjoyed it.
Well, that's strong out of the gate, man, and I appreciate Jim. I mean, he's gonna have to go back down to Florida and do a few more workouts this week to work off all he indulged in yesterday at Saturday at Sanford Stadium, man, because that's a lot of calories intake right there. But hey, he's doing it for the podcast. We appreciate that. Yes. So a very, very good review of what Sanford Stadium Concessions has to offer right there, man. One more comment about that. What he said, I don't think there's ever been a ballpark, whether it be baseball, football, basketball, any level, that has ever got the standard nachos that you get at a game, the cheese to chip ratio correct, man.
Yeah,
that's very rare. And and I think too, I think a lot of people miss it where you have the nachos and then you just give the chips and you just put the cheese over the top of it. I think I've touched on this before. That's lazy. You put it on each side. Let the customer know what their preference is of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like put it to the side, man. But I think just the ratio is just never right with it. That's something that throughout the course of time and history that nobody's ever figured out and got right. That's my complaint with nachos. That's really why I steer away from nachos outside of going to the local Mexican restaurant.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. We have too much fun with the concession stands report. But once again, Mr. Jim, thank you so much for that. Also, we want to thank our patrons this week. We had several that signed up. Lila Sisson, Josh Calicut, Dalton Corbett, Ben Evanson, and Mr. Russell Dye. Awesome. Hey, thank y'all all so much for being a part of our Patreon family. They get access to exclusive Row 60 content. And hey, if you're not on Patreon yet and you want to be on there, just visit patreon.com/row60, or you can download the Patreon app. It's only $5 a month, and every single penny helps us travel to more road games and produce more content for all of you. So
that's right,
thank y'all so much for supporting the podcast, the channel, and thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. It helps us just continue the operation that we got going, and it's just good stuff, and a lot of good game day content yesterday, and hopefully, good Lord willing, so the season progresses, pump more and more out.
Exactly. Well, let's talk some football, some X's and O's.
A lot of football to talk. Clark.
Oh yeah, and this is probably what people have been waiting on. Hey, when are you going to talk about Mike Bobo? Hey, when are you going to talk about the offensive play calling, Carson Beck, yada, yada, yada.
There wasn't no complaints by anybody.
Oh, there weren't?
Was there?
Oh, no.
I mean, everybody was just happy. You can go look, right?
Not quite, but we'll save that for just a second. Mm-hmm. First, let's do some Clark's Fun Facts.
Yes.
That's the first time I've ever said that. Baby. Clark's Fun Facts. Here we go. Georgia's top 6 leading tacklers on Saturday. Every single one of them were in the secondary, Adam.
Wow, really? I did not realize that. No linebackers,
no defensive linemen.
All in the secondary.
Is that not crazy to you?
You don't want to see that trend continue. I'll tell you that. That's not a trend you really want to see continue. But, hey, that's awesome, man. And for guys, for in the sense of a secondary that's not afraid to come up, stick their nose up, and get physical, man.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, the guys that made these tackles, let me read you their names. First of all, Malachi Starks. Excuse me.
Oh, you all right?
I might have to edit that one out. That was a burp. I've been drinking too much Coca-Cola Classic. Sorry. Malachi Starks, he led the team in tackles. Then Tyke Smith, Javon Bullard, Dan Jackson, Julian Humphrey, and Ja'Cory Thomas. 6 guys. The next guy would be Troy Bowles, or Bowles, not Bowles. Excuse me. Bowles. I'm sorry. Not Bowles. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just insane, though. 6 guys
That
in
is
secondary
amazing, man. And
leading the
you know,
team
and a lot
tackles.
of it too was some quick, just bubble screens and just kind of getting the ball out on the perimeter that our guys in secondary were able to come up and blow up.
Yep.
You know, and then a lot of times where Tennessee Martin was able to break containment, get out the edge, and our guys coming down, man. So, but hey, that's good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff that we have a physical secondary.
Oh, yeah. Georgia has now won 28 straight regular season games.
I guess dating
That's
back to
unbelievable.
Jacksonville in 2020.
Exactly.
Right? Wow.
That's exactly right. And you know what? It would be 29, but Vanderbilt's a bunch of chickens.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's still a sore
anyway.
subject.
Anyway, I digress. Rose 60. Here's a fun fact for you that has nothing to do with
Okay.
Georgia football. Rose 60 has now reached 27,000 all-time downloads.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Give a
amazing.
clap. Give a clap.
Thank y'all
That's good
so
stuff.
much.
That's good stuff there. Thank y'all. Thank
Yeah,
y'all.
we have a little software. It tells us where everybody downloads from and the amount of downloads we've gotten all time, and 27K. That's awesome.
That's big.
So,
That's big.
Thank y'all. All right, let's talk about the good stuff. Georgia's offense.
All right, we're
And
diving
Adam,
right into it, aren't we?
and
Let's dive right into it.
Before we kind of address the elephant in the room, let's talk about some of the good things. Let's just be objective about what we saw yesterday.
Well, it's
on the
time to
field.
get serious. We've gone
Right.
through all of our stuff, you know, leading up to this, and this is the meat and potatoes portion right now, and what everybody, you know, is everybody's talking about, and everybody's got an opinion on it. Everybody should have an opinion on it, right? What I saw good. One thing I have on a napkin note.
Oh, Adam's napkin notes. Here we go.
Hey, one thing I have is just one thing, one number, 0. Roger Robinson, man. I thought Roger Robinson, I want to say that was my biggest takeaway. For me, from the stuff that I get to hear from, you know, people who are insiders and attend fall campus, Robinson's just not fast enough yet. You know, they really didn't expect him. From what I heard, and what I took away was that you won't see him be a big contributor during this season. I know, you know, you're playing a FCS team and UT Martin, man, and a very physical FCS defense, I might add, man, and a defense, Clark, that, and we'll get to it too, that stack the box all day. That's something that us as average fans got to wrap our head around, man, is that they stack the box all day, and we're not going to let just Georgia gash you. Because you know why they did that, Clark? It's because more bad things can happen when you have to throw the football. For the offense, more bad things can happen, and you have more opportunity of success when a team has to put the ball in the air more than when they can just openly run the football on it and have a higher percentage run in place. But still, Georgia ran the ball, and Roger Robinson, I thought, Clark, to me, from sitting where I was up there in row 60, section 108, had a great freshman debut for his first ever collegiate football game, Clark. I mean, you had a couple running backs there who got their first collegiate totes. Man. You got Andrew Paul guy coming off, and you had Cash Jones, Clark, a guy who's tote the rock, but I mean, it had to be the earliest in a college football game that he has tote the rock, and probably the most carries he's ever had, I would imagine. And so you got a lot of new faces, Clark, and I really think there's some guys out there, man, and that's something about the running back position that's been a topic the past couple weeks is the thinness of it because of injury. Juwan Edwards, I can never say his name right. Went through this last episode. Juwan Edwards did not play yesterday. He was banged up. Kendall Milton has had some carries, man, but he's still not 100%. And you have these new freshmen or redshirt freshmen coming in, and really, I thought played some good ball, man.
Yeah.
Roger Robinson, especially in the sense of it. But there's got to be a guy who's got to step up and be the guy who they have to give the football to. You know what I mean, Clark? There has to be a guy step up in that running back room that's going to say, hey, I'm taking the majority of the carries, and Mike Bobo and Del McGee have to have that guy out there, man. And that's what we're going to be looking for as the next couple of games progress, man, especially going into South Carolina in a couple of weeks. So, I don't know. I was shocked. I thought, coming around to say, I thought Robinson, man, had more speed in a burst that I wasn't expecting from just what you heard during the offseason.
And he is huge.
Yes.
I mean, big body back, and kind of reminds me a little bit of a bigger version of Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
Listen,
man.
I'm not comparing him to Nick Chubb yet, but what I'm saying is he kind of has that same running style.
Yeah.
And he is a little shifty, but he is not afraid to.
I was a straight line guy, man. You know, you're gonna hit him up the A gap and run between the tackles, good, man. But I wasn't expecting from what I read just the burst that he had.
Right.
And to me, man, somebody just like an average fan, I thought it was pretty good little acceleration even against a team like Tennessee Martin. Can't wait to see how he progresses, Clark. But anyway, we got to find somebody who is going to be the guy who's going to say, hey, I'm going to take the majority of the totes, man, and carry that running back room. And then there's some guys in there, man, I'm excited to see when they they get fully healthy, I think we're going to be all right. I really think we're going to be all right. The sky's not falling to me.
Exactly.
I'll just go ahead and say the sky, and that's going to be what our podcast is about. The sky's not falling. And one more thing, and then I want you to talk, Clark. I'm going to mention about Carson Beck, man, and I know there's been some chatter about him. One thing I think you don't hear a lot of people saying right now, but I want to point out, I thought he had some pretty good footwork, Clark.
Exactly.
I think he had some pretty good pocket awareness, man, and was able to really step up and throw some balls. And I think, and that's something, man, that's hard to correct on a dime if you don't have it.
Yep.
I think there's things that was in Carson Beck's game yesterday that would be a negative. People would say that's very easy to fix.
Yeah,
very easy to fix. But the stuff that I saw that were good is stuff that I don't think you just turn around in a week's time.
Yeah.
And I think though, like the mechanics and footwork stuff is stuff that we saw that was very on point and good and very exciting going forward to see, man.
Yeah. Carson, I think he did seem a little unsure of himself, and who wouldn't? It's your first D1 start ever.
Right.
And even I think he admitted it in a post-game interview. He was a little nervous. Who wouldn't be?
And especially, right? and also, it's not only your first ever start, Clark, but you're following arguably the best player to ever play at Georgia. Herschel Walker, Stetson Bennett, 1A, 1B. Up there, quarterback. I should say the most accomplished quarterback in Georgia football history. That has just the most filled trophy room and accolades. And and
I don't think anybody's ever had to meet as high of expectations as what Carson Beck has been.
Right.
He's having to do.
Well, and also, Clark, too, man, he's a guy who has been thrown in, already getting talked about for a Heisman candidate.
Right.
Is starting his first game, and he's already, beforehand, everybody is talking about how he could be an All-American quarterback and potential dark horse Heisman, man. So he's heard that all summer as well. Mm-hmm. That pressure just mounts, man. Yeah. So
I thought the offensive line looked decent too. I'd like to see him be a little bit more physical in run blocking. I don't know. It just seemed like we didn't have the same amount of juice. And don't get me wrong, this offensive line is incredibly talented.
They're studs, man.
And I think they will prove that here really soon. Yesterday looked a little lackluster, and I'm sure they would admit that too.
And I will say, man, they get about 7-8 guys that were in on rotation. We talked about that last week, how important it is to get more bodies, more experience, because that's a position you really have to have some depth. So like guys like Fairchild was out there. I think Morris got out there some, man, and Blasky, and I think it was a good. They rotated some guys, man, really to use it as a time to get guys more meaningful game time reps, Clark, where you can have some depth in that room. But I agree. But also, like we alluded to earlier, man, Tennessee Martin sat the box all night. 8 or 9 in the box all night, man. And we're going to say, hey, Georgia's going to beat us by throwing the football. And Georgia did. Georgia did. Yeah, Carson Beck has over 400 yards passing. Or the team does total.
Right. And the line, they kept a clean pocket all night. It's not and they did run some blitzes at us. They did pressure us a time or two, but it seemed like our offensive line did pretty well. And to your point, Adam, Carson Beck, his footwork, right? There's some things, he missed some throws. There were a couple of reads. There's one, oh my gosh, Arian Smith was streaking downfield. It's probably not on the TV, but Arian Smith was wide open, right? And he hit a lot of check downs last night. I feel like he went through his progression. He probably saw a throw he could have made, but it's almost like he was a little too timid to, and that's okay, right? I would rather him hit his check downs, get it to a guy who can make a play, get 5 to 10 yards, rather than throw it into double coverage and do something stupid. Okay,
maybe. Go ahead.
And that's something I feel like Kirby's probably preached to him all offseason is, hey, Carson, we don't need you to be the Stetson Bennett, right? And that's where I think people are like, well, wait a minute, why is our offense not what it was last year? It's not going to be. Okay, it's not going to be for several reasons. One of those being we have a brand new quarterback. Right. And he's got to get comfortable. He will get there. He will get used to this speed of play and the rhythm. And, it's going to help a lot, I think, when he gets Ladd back too.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I think you're not going to get beaten. Maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but this is just my opinion. Again, my opinion. I do not think you're going to lose football games by taking what the defense gives you. And what I mean by that is, like you just alluded to, Clark, not forcing the ball downfield, but taking your check down routes. But, I agree with you. There's some times he could have made some better, going through his progressions, made some better decisions and get it downfield. But, hey, he took what the defense gives him. Have you ever heard of the story of Aaron Murray when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs? He got cut. He got cut. Andy Reid, arguably one of the best offensive coaches in the game of football and in the history. You know, I'd say top 10 right now with what he's done with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, very respected quarterback guy. Told Aaron Murray, Clark, when he got cut, if you just would have took what the defense gave you, by that meaning hit just check down guys, not trying to just make stuff happen all the time, you'd still be on this team.
Wow.
You'd still be on this team.
I've never heard of that.
You know, translating that into Carson Beck didn't do anything yesterday, which I thought was a good omen that would get you beat. By putting the defense in bad positions, by, like you said, terrible turnovers, interceptions, trying to escape out of the pocket, extend plays, man, throwing balls up for grabs, putting himself in bad positions where he could get hit and fumble the ball or stuff like that, man. And as you said, Clark, I think as the season goes on, you'll get better at him going through his progressions more and hitting some guys or some intermediate routes a little bit better. And the timing, Clark, I mean, the timing I think was one thing, you know, a lot of people I think got disgruntled with yesterday. At the beginning was, you know, it might have been some balls that some guys that were dialed up open. You know, contrary to popular belief, there were some great play calls where there were some receivers that were open that you know the players just didn't connect on, man. And I think that just the timing of that will keep getting better each week, man. And as they keep practicing with each other, and I think what was great is when he settled down, Clark, there was some good football play, man. You saw that offense getting rhythm. You saw the timing of some passes, hit some receivers in stride better. And I mean, you got to think, too, Ladd McConkey and Marcus Rosenby-Jack Saint weren't out there either. Jawan Edwards wasn't out there either. So you have three guys that are, I think, pivotal cogs in this offense, man, that weren't playing yesterday as well. And some guys banged up that were playing. And then some we probably don't even know if they were banged up or not.
Well, one guy that really showed out was Mekhi Muse. He's had a very good offseason. We've heard a lot of chit chat about him and how he could potentially step up and play a big role in this offense. And I think people are right. I mean, he showed last night he's really shifty. He kind of reminds me of Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah,
I think that's a great comparison. Maybe kind of a Kill Crumpton too. You know, just he's shorter to the ground. Stocky. Can move though. Very, very, very agile and quick. So I'm excited to see him. But let's talk about play calling. All right.
Oh, man. You're going to get some people stirred up with this.
And we're going to probably ruffle some feathers here. And I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry if this offends you in any way. I'm not going to speak for you, Adam. I don't really care. And I know that sounds a little harsh.
Okay.
But
everybody's got their opinion.
Everybody's got, and I'm
everybody's
not,
got
listen,
their opinion.
listen.
You respect every opinion of everybody.
Exactly. And I'm going to, let's be very clear about that. You are certainly entitled to have an opinion that we can differ and still go to games and have fun and hoot, holler, and everything.
That's life, brother.
That is. Yeah.
That's life in every aspect of it.
But, you know, if you really care so much about Mike Bobo, right, and his bad play calling, two things. Either you donate millions of dollars to the football program and have a say about Mike Bobo, or maybe you should just dedicate your life to coaching football at the Division I level. I know that sounds kind of harsh. And look, like I said, you can have your opinion. If you don't like Mike Bobo, so be it. That's fine. But don't bash the guy. Don't call for his head in game one. That makes you sound ignorant.
And game one right now. We all miss Todd Monken, right? Because Todd Monken is an elite. I don't think you will see an offensive coordinator be what he was to Georgia the past couple of years again. He's special. That's why he's in the NFL, Clark.
Yeah.
That's why he's the NFL offensive coordinator, all right? But Mike Bobo is a great offensive coordinator at the collegiate level. He's never going to be an NFL offensive coordinator like Todd Monken. Todd Monken is a step above, okay? But that does not, to me, again, my opinion, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to say, and we said this when he was hired, Clark.
Right.
In an episode we did in like February. We listed off Mike Bobo's accolades, what he did here at Georgia, what he did with the all-time leading passer in the SEC and Aaron Murray at the time, and, you know, where he was at South Carolina and Auburn. And we did say, he's not going to be better than Todd Monken. He's not. But he's good. And he's a good enough offense coordinator with the talent that he has to win a national championship for the third time in a row at the University of Georgia and to keep the train rolling.
Yep.
So I would just caution to say, let's see how it goes, man.
Right.
And then also everybody realize, just like what we're talking about on the defense side of the football, it was a small tenth or I don't even know very small percentage of the playbook and what you could do with the tools you have on offense, what Georgia ran Saturday, man. And I mean, then the argument's going to be, well, you're playing FCS Tennessee Martin, you know, you should just bulldoze them, you know, and it doesn't matter every play. And I understand that argument to a degree with it. But when they stack the box and you're still trying to run, just because you're wanting to challenge that offensive line, see what kind of push they can get and get some experience.
Yeah.
But you're not just going to go out of your way to abandon a game plan if Tennessee Martin's stacking the box in a game like that and show your cards. Or my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be very
sense.
vanilla, and that was very vanilla. And I don't think it's fair to base the offensive staff's play calling on a game like Tennessee Martin.
On one
Breaking
singular
in
game.
a brand new quarterback with some injuries.
Well, let me ask,
Right.
and this is a
Right.
question I'd
Right.
like to pose people who are bashing Mike Bobo already, game one. Go back to the Missouri game. Let's just say, for example, Missouri started, we had that same game, 26-22. That was final, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Let's say that was the first game of the season last year. Would people be calling for not Mike Bobo, Todd Monken's head back then? Would they?
Yeah. I mean, well, you could list Sanford. Sanford was a game, and
Kent State,
and then Charleston Southern. If you look at and then and then people say, well, blah blah. We were up 35-0 to X or whatever at the half there, and then tapered off, and we were only up 17-0 at the half here. And I understand that, but this is game one, man. And with the exception of last year in the Benz, which was just unworldly, in my opinion, as an opening day performance. And that's a high standard to try to live up to. You never were gonna. I don't think you'll ever touch that open day performance again.
Yeah.
I mean, score a touchdown on the first 6-7 offensive possessions you had, not the 6 or like the first 4 or 5, something like that. Just crazy. You're not going to have that again. And of course, it's dealing with 18, 22-year-old kids. That's a big neutral site game in Atlanta against a top 15 opponent, just like against Clemson. There wasn't an offensive touchdown scored in Charlotte in 2021.
Right.
And it was an elite defense you're playing, and you win the game, obviously. But it's not like the offense just clicking on all cylinders with JT Daniels and everybody in that game. And I don't. When you're playing these games, Clark, let's call them what they are, cupcake games, right? Mm-hmm. During the Kirby Smart era, has there ever been a cupcake style game where you've just left? Oh man, that's just wonderful. I mean, you're pleased with it, but because you know how vanilla the game plan is, and that is honestly, I feel like the Georgia staff treats those games as in a practice in a sense, Clark.
Yeah.
They're going to work on situational football and live reps with live bullets flying at you, correct?
Yeah.
And guys that might not have it and trying to build that depth and that experience. I think that's obviously to win the game, but that's just kind of my look at it.
Right.
And I just do not think it is fair right now to be calling for Bobo's head and being so upset with it. And then also too, when the players at times did not, it's not like they just went out there and the calls that they did have right, in quotation marks, that they just, executed them to the fullest, every single one.
Exactly.
Of them. I mean, but then you can't. One more thing. And then on the flip side, you can't be like, oh, why did Dominic love it? I thought he was going to be a stud. Why didn't he drop a couple balls, man? It's the first game of the year. Rotating in new guys, new pieces, man.
New quarterback.
All the way new around, and I'm not ready to sound the alarm yet.
Me neither. Here's the thing. I got a few more points I want to say, and then we'll move on to defense. Style points aren't Kirby's forte anyway, Who cares? Who cares if we beat UT Martin by 3 or 83? What difference is it going to make in your life?
Well, I mean,
truthfully,
Ole Miss,
a win is a win.
Ole Miss went out and beat Mercer 73-7.
Whoop-de do.
I'm going to say the point I'm going to get to that is, would you rather have Ole Miss's offense, right? Or like be Ole Miss fans right now?
No.
Thinking that they're going to win the night. Just because they beat, does that scare you? Does that scare you? Because, hey, they're actually coming this year.
Right.
Are you now more nervous because they beat Mercer 73-7?
Nope. So.
Or are you going to judge in October when they play, I don't know when they play LSU, but when they play like LSU, is that going to be the litmus test to you? When they play an SEC defense, in a sense, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's going to be the litmus test to me, in my opinion. So,
Kirby doesn't care about style points, and that's the thing. I mean, who cares if we only beat UT Martin by 41 points? What does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
We won. We won the football game. This one game isn't indicative of our entire season or what our offense is going to do this season. That's another point I want to make. And then the last thing I want to say. Some of you, and this is really targeted, I guess, to the Mike Bobo, just haters, like true haters out there. I'll just say this. Some of you better be thankful you don't get criticized as much as at your job as you are criticizing Mike Bobo and his job.
Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, really, think about that. And you may say, well, I don't make 100,000,
I think that's a pretty good argument.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good argument. I will say that.
I'm glad I don't get criticized that way. Oh, my gosh.
I will say that's a pretty good argument that comes with the 7-digit salary.
Sure.
To some criticism that you're going to have.
But here's the thing.
But I get what you're saying.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
Here's the thing, though. No, these fans that are arguing, a lot of them aren't contributing anything to Mike Bobo's salary. And you say, well, I'll go to the games. Well, does it really? I mean, yeah, maybe a couple of dollars here and there go to Mike Bobo's, but you get my point.
I get it.
That's enough about Georgia's offense. Look,
wow, this is an interesting segment. I don't know. This is real hitting. Like, we got serious here for a second.
So, we're a pro. Listen, I trust Adam. I hope you trust in this Kirby Smart coach football team. Trust that Kirby hired the right guy.
That's what matters the most. Is Kirby Smart has earned our respect as fans to not question the hire. I mean, you can say, well, what about James Coley? Well, I can tell you this, Clark, and we'll say this. We will say this, and I think you agree with me 100% on this. If it does not progress and the offense isn't where it needs to be, like it would have been in 2019, that cost some football games, which I don't expect that's going to happen. So don't get me wrong on that. I'm calling that. I have all the faith that Kirby Smart will address it, and it'll be a one and done deal.
Yep.
And Clark, too, if we get to a point later on in the schedule where there is not enough execution on offense to, that is seen with the talent that Georgia has, then we're not going to just sit here and defend Mike Bobo.
Yeah.
But right now, game one with a vanilla offense, game one breaking in a new starting quarterback, very vanilla offensive game plan against the FCS team. There is no reason to just, everybody just needs to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes and see what happens. Because I'm under the assumption, maybe I've got too much of just red and black shaded glasses, that you're probably not going to be too impressed with what you see Saturday either.
Yeah.
Against Ball State. But then on 3:30 on September 16th against South Carolina, you might come out there and Georgia scores a touchdown on the first 4 offensive possessions, Clark.
Yeah, and then what are you going to say?
I mean, let's just see. See. I guess my point, let's just wait and see.
Let's wait and see. Georgia's defense, Malachi Starks is a freak. Javon Bullard is a freak. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Our whole secondary is full of freaks. Dalen Everett got the start opposite of Kamari Laster. We had a lot of guys rotating yesterday, Adam. Saw A.J. Harris, saw Nyland Green, Julian Humphrey, just a bunch of 4 or 5-star guys out there eating, and I think they're going to progress. Yeah. I know this sounds pretty conceited of me to say as a Georgia fan. I'm not scared of our defense. In terms of having big issues,
No,
because we got depth too.
Man.
Even if we got guys go down, or Lord forbid, suspended or injured, or that kind of deal. We've got guys to come in and take their places and make a difference. So
yeah, man. You look. I think that other opposite side cornerback battle is Everett got the start, but I don't think you should cement that in as he's the guy going forward.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right with those guys you listed. All got playing time, man. And again, that's another position. Make Coach Smart and Coach Muschamp and everybody and Coach Fran Brown play you, not be able to take you off the field, not afford to be able to take you off the field. That's what the opportunity that those guys that are competing for that spot opposite of Lassiter are gunning for, man.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't see Smile Munden playing a ton. I mean, he was on the field. Got a couple of meaningful snaps, but didn't really see him a lot.
Getting him 100% would be huge, man.
Yeah, it will be.
It'll be huge. But I mean, he's not there at 100% right now, man. And but no, I'm with you, Clark. I do not at all have any doubts about our defense, man. I mean, there was a couple times that we lost some containment. The edge weren't set, but again, first game, man. First game. Let's you can't set trends and teams off the first game of the year, right?
Yeah, or just one game in general.
Right, or one game in general. Exactly. One game in general. So, I really think that we're going to have to see. I feel good about it, but the thing is, I think the defensive line is the most important group in any position in football, especially on the defense side of the ball. But opposite of quarterback and defensive line, you have to have good play in both of those position groups, and if you don't in those two, I don't feel like you're a championship contender. And Saturday didn't show me anything that made me think that we don't, and I'm sounding the alarm of any panic.
Yep. Outside linebacker was a little bit of a question mark coming into this season. I mean, we got some guys, definitely got some pieces, some dudes who are ready to step in. Chaz Chambliss did get the start yesterday. Yep. He played a good bit. Who else?
Our boy Darius Smith out there.
Hey, Darius Smith, he made an impact too.
Yes.
Marvin, I've almost said Marvin Harrison.
Hey, you got two of the names right?
Yes.
Just get that last name right there. Marvin Jones Jr.
Marvin Jones. Oh my gosh.
MJJ. MJJ.
I knew that.
That's my guy. I love Marvin
the number
Jones
7
Jr.
is just sharp looking on him.
He passes the eye test like all of them do out there.
Yeah.
He played good. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Clark, but didn't Jalen Walker bounce inside and outside?
He sure did. Yeah,
that's what I thought, man. So you got a hybrid guy, man, and he's special. And like you've talked about him a bunch this all season leading up into the year about how that's a guy you're not going to be able to keep off the field.
Right.
And a big contributor last year, only going to progress this year. And embarrassment of riches in the linebacker room, Clark. A lot of young, very talented guys, man, that are going to continue to play and develop and be plugged in at spots, and it's exciting. 33, C.J. Allen.
C.J.
Allen got a lot
of
playing time in that inside spot as well, I guess, with the absence of Monday. Xavier Story, a veteran guy.
Yep.
He was starting right there, beside Dumas Johnson in the middle. And, golly, it's just – there's a reason why Tresman Marshall – left the program, a great player who exited in a great, no ill will towards Trez Marshall.
No.
And we've mentioned transfer because I truly think he left on good terms with Georgia, but he was a guy who left to play at Alabama and automatically goes in that linebacker room and is one of, if not the best linebacker in that room.
Right.
And that tells you a lot about what's in that linebacker room in Athens.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got some pressure too yesterday, and I like to call this natural pressure. When we run a 3-4,
correct,
and when you can just rush your tackles, and your defensive line,
right.
When you can just rush them and get to the quarterback, and you're still creating pressure with just using those 3 guys. That's good. And I'm not saying we took them down. We created a bunch of sacks or whatever, but we did hurry them a little bit. We did. We got a good push on the line, I guess is my point.
Yeah, a sack is not, Clark, what you would call the ultimate. I mean, yeah, that's what the ultimate goal is, but that doesn't. If you don't get a sack, doesn't mean the play was a failure. I guess what I'm trying to say. Quarterback hurries, like you said, letting them get the ball out of his hands quicker all day than he wanted to, letting plays develop downfield. I feel like we did a good. Mikael Williams. Get his 5th career sack, first of the year, man. And that was the only sack we had yesterday.
I think so, yeah.
A guy who is going to be very special to keep your eye on number 13.
Oh, yeah.
Off the defensive end spot, man. So get on him. Get on him with it. So, like you said, I just want to talk about Malachi Starks is a freak.
He is awesome.
Unreal, man. And
Gosh.
he did a great job of coming downhill, man, and really blowing up some plays. And Tyke Smith, I really want to see Tyke Smith have a good year, Clark. I think that's a guy who deserves it. And I thought he played good yesterday.
And Dirty Dan.
And Dirty Dan, that's exactly right. Big Dan Jackson. I mean, we love Dan Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
He's out there just doing his thing, veteran guy. And the young guys, Jonell Guaro, a guy that they say it's going to be hard to keep off the field. It definitely passes the eye test. Just all the way around, I think it is definitely the most talented defense in the country. And
Agreed.
I think it will end the year as the most talented defense in the country.
100%.
And I just don't think it's going to be hard to score on the University of Georgia.
Period. Oh, yeah.
Period. And again, Clark, one more thing I wanted to say. You touched on it when you're in a base 3-4 defense, creating that pressure. Just like we talked about on offense, absolutely the same goes on defense. Very vanilla. In coverages, disguise blitz packages. Exotic. I love saying exotic blitz packages.
Yeah.
There wasn't really none of that. Just really when you did send pressure more than your regular front, then it went as rare as that was yesterday. It wasn't just anything that wasn't just vanilla, sending maybe a guy off the edge and anything. But there was really no disguise like you're going to bring a safety up and then all of a sudden he drops back in the coverage and your outside linebacker comes off and comes around and comes into A gap, something like that. And it was very vanilla and it's something that basically. Point is, man, these games you cannot be basing the play calling and the game planning off of what you're going to see for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yep. It's not indicative of the rest of the year. Yeah. That's enough about defense. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they're going to continue to progress. Georgia's special teams.
Jordan Hall came in there. Big
he sure did.
Did
yeah,
good.
He did.
Yeah. And Jamal Jarrett. So I mean, some good beef up there in the interior defensive line.
Exactly.
Young pups looking good.
Yeah.
So hey, again, I'm a man. Love it.
Yep. Georgia's special teams, Peyton Woodring. He's a freshman kicker, Adam.
Yeah.
And I had no idea he was going to be doing the field goal attempts, the extra points.
Yes, man. I thought Zirkle was going to be the guy. But,
Me too.
it just shows how we're not connected to the program. We don't know. But, good on him, man. It was good to see him come out there, and that's got to be a very nerve-wracking ordeal right there is to come out in Sanford Stadium and attempt your first career collegiate kicks, man.
As a freshman.
Already the pressure you have if you're a fifth-year guy as a kicker every time you go out there. But especially a true freshman guy coming in there, I thought he did really well. Jared Zirkle did really good on kickoffs, man.
He sure did.
And every time I think he did what he was asked to do on kickoffs, so that's put the ball out of bounds. And or excuse me, on the back of the end zone, out of bounds. That's not good.
Well, I mean,
you don't want to put it out of bounds.
No.
I'm talking about you touchback,
exactly.
the back of the end zone.
Right,
so
right.
yeah. But yeah, he did good, and yeah.
Adam, I want to point this out.
Okay.
Carson was the
You
placeholder.
were right.
So
you were right. Just like you got right the color visor that Kirby was going to wear that we talked about on the call-in show.
Oh,
So
man.
2 for 2 for Clark right there. 1,000 on our guesses.
And a little spoiler alert, I did get I got the pick right for the game of the week last week. So I'll announce that in just a little bit. Makai Muse, he looked great. A couple more notes about special teams. Makai Muse looked awesome as a punt returner. I think when Ladd gets back,
that's what I was going to ask.
May potentially take that spot again.
Yeah, I think
they'll probably rotate.
I think he'll rotate him, but I think primarily, especially in very key situations going forward into the year, 84 will be the guy back there returning punts. But Muse I think he did outstanding, man. I don't remember there was any. Let me say this: how can we not talk about punting games yesterday without talking about how much of a stud the University of Tennessee Martin's punter was? That was an absolute weapon. And another thing that you could talk about for the offense never really started in good field position in the sense of how much. I mean, they flipped the field pretty well.
They sure did.
They flipped the field pretty well.
Yeah.
Every time that Tennessee Martin punted. I mean, there's a couple times where they pinned them inside the 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
I mean, he was punting at an NFL level to me. I mean, not that I know much about special teams punters, but I don't know if he's just that good or he was just in a different world. But you can't go through and talk about this game without giving credit to how well coached Tennessee Martin was. Their punter, I think, was the primary guy, and I thought they were physical.
They did a good job.
And, I think they're going to be a pretty good team in their division, and there's a reason why they've won their conference back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, formidable opponent for sure. Georgia versus Ball State moving on this Saturday. It's a 12 o'clock noon kickoff. I hate noon kickoffs, but it's SEC Network. And, hey, if you're sitting at home and you're avoiding the Athens heat, you can watch this on normal TV.
No paywall.
No paywall.
No paywall.
Right.
That's right.
So
that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
As it should be.
None. There have been no other matchups. This is the very first matchup between Georgia and Ball State. But I will say this: Ball State last week they lost to Kentucky, 44-14.
Woo,
and yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're MAC team. They have a freshman quarterback,
MAC team.
Caden Simonza. I probably butchered that.
Simonza. Just
We're
let
going
me
to
see
go
you
that.
roll off the tongue a little bit.
Simonza. Yeah, Caden
Simonza.
Simonza. He didn't look too bad against Mark Stoops' defense last week, though, Adam.
Oh, really?
He really didn't.
I haven't gone back and watched any tape on that, Carl.
I watched the highlights.
Did you? Oh, yeah,
for what that's worth. So.
Well, I mean, I will say, keeping up with that game, shoot, they were Kentucky was only up like 17-7, or I mean, within a touchdown or 10 points or so for the majority of the first half. Correct?
Yeah. It was close there for a half.
Yeah.
Marquez Cooper is their main running back. He had 2 straight seasons of 1,000+ rushing yards, but he only had 15 against Kentucky. So that might be a sign that they may not be running the ball too much. Yeah. Watch them come out and run like 200 yards. No, they won't. Not against Kirby Smart.
No.
Defensively, they do run a 4-3. And to be quite honest with you, that's all I know about the Ball State Cardinals.
Well, that was good. Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's exactly who they are. They're the Ball State Cardinals out of the Mid-American Conference. And another thing that I think this has been beat to death. If you've been living under a rock, if you don't know this by now, this is a game that was scheduled within a calendar year, because this was the week Georgia was supposed to go to Norman, Oklahoma to play Oklahoma.
Right.
They got canceled about this time of year last year, I think, is when they rescheduled it. And Georgia had to scramble and get somebody. So that's why you have a Ball State team. If the schedule had stood where it was supposed to, how it had been designed, but because of Oklahoma coming to the SEC when they did, the SEC forced both schools to cancel this game, and Georgia had to scramble to get an opponent for week 2, man. So, yeah, we should be going to Norman, but, hey, instead we're getting Ball State. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be another good game to work, to get better.
Exactly.
Get better. And,
exactly.
yeah. So this time you're playing a FBS team. And Max in the FBS. So and a team who's already played at SEC school coming up against you, man. So I don't know. It should be exciting. Should be fun to watch and see where Georgia's at.
Yeah, not much to say about Ball State, quite honestly. I mean, we're not going to disrespect Ball State, the Cardinals, but some keys to the game, though. I think one thing I think we really need to work on this week is to develop an offensive rhythm and get some momentum, keep drives alive, sustain drives. I want to see us run the ball between the tackles and be more physical up front on the line of scrimmage. And then the last thing I want to see is us creating some turnovers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think just, off the stuff that we said that maybe we were a little bit, rusty on, you could say, from the first week. Just, I think with having 2 games at this not very exciting magnitude, would you say, of University of Tennessee and Ball State, where you want to see it is you want to see progression in fundamentals, some on the defense side of the ball, see us get better than we were last week, open field tackling, maybe, and then on offense, eliminate maybe some times where we've had some explosive plays that we missed on, whether it be timing or what have you not, and maybe a key block miss. Get it this time, and just continue to progress and see a progression from that on both sides of the football every single week. And I think it'll be another game where you're not going to see anything just huge offensively in the sense of just opening up the playbook. This is going to be another opponent where it's going to be vanilla on both sides of the football, Clark.
Yep. I mean, nothing really.
Another thing I need to mention real quick is, and I hope number 19, we give him his for a little bit because he's unreal. We went through that segment without talking about Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
on offense, but
it's almost like you don't even have to
bring it up.
Yeah,
you don't even have to bring it up, man. So good things happen when you give 19 the football.
Agreed.
And you're going to see 19 get the football more as the season progresses in times where he needs to get. But right now, why would you risk injury and just giving it to him every single possession?
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing too to keep your mind on, that he might not have been the key cog in the offense yesterday like he will be in some game plans going forward. But obviously you saw when he got the ball what he does against any opponent. It doesn't matter what color jersey's on the opposite side. He's going to look like a man among boys. So yeah, but I don't know, Clark. I hope to see us just continue to run the football. And if Ball State stacks the box like University of Tennessee Martin does, and they take the approach that, hey, we could create more good things on defense by them throwing the football with either an incomplete pass or an interception, obviously. And then I hope we're able to take more advantage to there and see Carson Beck maybe kind of this offense getting rhythm at the beginning of the game, pick up where they left off in the second half Saturday against Tennessee Martin. And I'd love to see Clark go ahead and just march down the field and score on the opening offensive drive.
That would be nice.
I think that sets the tone, man, because you think about it, how much of it Saturday was maybe that, and there was a questionable call that on that third down pass where it should have been pass interference, I believe, for holding. And, if you get that first down there, you drive down more, possibly either get a field goal or a touchdown. Does that change sign of the confidence of these younger guys making their first start? Or going 3 and out off the bat against Tennessee Martin kind of set the tone for a little bit there in that first half, I believe. So maybe I would like to see us kind of, look a little bit more crisp and sharp on the offense side of the football to start against Ball State, run whatever base plays you're going to be running to the standard. You're going to want to run them and maybe score a touchdown on that first offensive drive and just see where it goes from there.
Yeah. I'd love to see an opening drive touchdown this upcoming week. All right.
Be good.
Last week's games. Let's talk a little bit about outside of Sanford Stadium. Florida at Utah, 24-11. Utah won in, I'm not going to say a dominating fashion, but Florida looked terrible.
That's a game. That's a prime example of where I think the fan base has every right to be criticizing coaches.
Sure. Yeah.
You spend that money to go to Utah, and the team doesn't even look like they walked off the bus at the prime time of game where you got Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler, and that was more so of a inexcusable first game to me in the sense of how you have, and that's something what I'm trying to say with that, having 2 number 3s on a punt.
Yeah.
If they get penalized and gives Utah first down, they drive down the field and score a touchdown.
Oh, gosh.
Just stuff like that. And it showed to me, I think the observations I had from that Billy Napier has right now at this point in time has no confidence in Graham Mertz and the offense to have a vertical passing game. When you're running on 3rd and long little bubble screens, just trying to get a guy in space and hopefully have 10 yards after catch to convert a first down, and that happened multiple times, tells me that I don't think there's a trust right now on the Florida offense side of the football for Graham Mertz to be able to push the ball downfield, whether it's Graham Mertz, whether it's the offensive line that did not look good at all, or the receivers. I don't know. But it just shows within that core group there is not a trust, I feel like, for Florida offensive staff right now to push the ball downfield. And if that's the case, then, man, it could be a long year. But I think they'll improve. They have to, right?
Yeah,
they'll
guess.
have to. I don't know, man. It might be a different. It should be. If it's not a better team by the time they roll into Jacksonville, I don't know.
We're going to tee off on them. All right, Virginia at Tennessee, 49-13. Tennessee won pretty big. Virginia, God bless them. They have no offense, and if they did, that game would have been actually kind of close because Tennessee did not play very well in the first half. Second half, I guess they looked a little bit better.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. The typical, starting off slow, like you saw across the nation, man.
Exactly. So not much to say there. Tony Elliott, Adam, he may be on the hot seat. What is this, year 2 or 3?
I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I think it might be 3. I think it was 21 was his first year. I want to say 21 was his first year. I think it was maybe.
I don't remember.
No, it might be year 3. It might be year 2. I can't remember if he was there when we played him that year or not. Anyway, one of those things, man, they're the worst Power 5 team in the country. I know they've gone through a tragedy, but they did not really look competent at all on the offense side of the football in the sense of starting a quarterback that was from Monmouth and had, 4 new offensive linemen and just really could not move the ball at all on Tennessee's defense. So I don't think that is a test to say as Tennessee's defense made that big of a leap forward. We'll see. A really good game I can't wait to see would be where both programs would be Tennessee and Florida and Gainesville in a couple of weeks. Yeah. But right now, man, I don't know. Tony Elliott, we'll see what happens down there. But another guy, I mean, you look at the Dabo Swinney coaching tree. I got to get in my Clemson jab for the episode. You got Chad Morris. You know what happened there? He's coaching high school football in Texas now. That's what's happened. And then you got Jeff Scott, USF. I think won like 2 games in 3 years. Maybe he's gone. He got fired. And then you got Brent Venables, who beat.
They put up some points.
Put up some points and made Butch Jones cry.
They did, man. I saw that.
I don't know what caused
Butch.
that. God bless him. I'm not going to just jab that, but. It did happen, and
it's a little concerning.
And that was like, golly, all right then. But we'll see. Jury's still out on Brent Venables, man. But not a very impressive coaching tree is what I'm coming around to say. Coming out of the hills of Clemson, South Carolina, and Dabo Swinney, compared to what's the branches that have blossomed from Kirby Paul Smart's tree.
West Virginia at Penn State, 38-15. Adam, I didn't even watch this game, but
I didn't either,
for Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State, a team that's got a lot of preseason hype. So we'll see what noise they make in the Big Ten East over there.
North Carolina, South Carolina, 31-17. Boy, did I get this wrong.
I did.
You did too, right?
No, I picked North Carolina.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I did pick
nice.
the Tar Heels. Yes, sir, I did. I picked Drake May. I was riding with Drake May. I wasn't doubting Drake May. Like some people on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't necessarily that I was doubting Drake May.
You did say that. You took Spencer Rattler over him in a shootout.
What a terrible decision on my part. I took Beamer ball. Hey, they did make a special teams play coming out of the half. Coming out of the
coming out of the thing. That's right.
Coming out
of yes. They did. They made the big onside kicks. I mean, Carolina had a lot of opportunities on offense, man. I think Drake May actually threw a couple interceptions.
Really?
And had some good field position. And I didn't get to watch all this game either because we were either at the Georgia game or coming back home. But 31-17, man, 14-point win by North Carolina, good win by them. I think the main takeaway from this game was South Carolina's offensive line did not look good. And I love the fact we're playing them in 2 weeks. So not a lot of time. They got one. I don't know who they play next week, but they got a lot of work to do to iron out the kinks and the wrinkles of what happened in Charlotte, man, before they head to Athens to face this Georgia defense. I'm feeling good about that. Real good about that a couple weeks out.
LSU versus Florida State. That game actually, for us, sitting here recording this episode, has not happened yet. It's about to kick off in 30 minutes.
We didn't think about that when we added that to the pick'em card. We didn't take that into consideration.
We ran into the same problem last year, though.
We did.
Yeah, actually,
we did. Another mistake. Yeah. That's all right. You'll have that.
Good.
You'll have that.
Y'all know what the final score is as you're listening to this, but we don't.
I don't know. I mean, Florida State. We'll talk about it. Let's try to call our shot. Has there been any change in your heart now since the last time? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a really good game. I think LSU will win, but, Florida State's got some guys, man. Jordan Travis. And then, they got some receivers that transfer from Michigan State. And they got is it Johnny Wilson? The wide receiver,
I have no idea.
I mean, Johnny Wilson's out there catching balls, man. Johnny Wilson sounds like a guy who will change put a new transmission in your car at the town square shop right there. You know? I mean, I think the receiver Johnny Wilson's a guy to look out for in this game. So let's see what he does. For those listening right now, maybe he probably won't even have a catch after saying this, but he could be going off, man. Honestly, this is a game that I'm so excited to watch because I don't have a feel for it at all. I would just go with LSU.
I'm with you, LSU. Then the game of the week: Nebraska Wesleyan Prairie Wolves at Austin College Kangaroos. Adam, the Prairie Wolves got the Kangaroos 17-9.
You hate hearing it.
In Austin College's very first night game at home in over 125 years of college.
You hate hearing it, man. Yeah. I guess the moment just was too big.
It was
just
too
to
big.
Put it like that. I don't know if Tommy Joe, as we talked about, Tony Joe is that offensive guy or a defensive guy. But if he's an offensive guy and he's starting off play calling right now, 17-9, not a good start.
No.
But hey, first, what has been the tone of this episode? First game. So we'll give him a pass on that, man. But I hate it for the people down there, the Kangaroo Nation, the Kangaroo Nation, for not being able to capitalize on that first home game. I'm sure it was a rowdy ruckus environment down there. And but hey, good on Nebraska Wesleyan. I mean, like you said, Clark, you alluded to it. 28th year in the program their guy was, and they came down there and definitely was like, the moment's not too big for us.
Exactly.
And I should have known better and took that in consideration with my pick. But man, at least it was a close game.
Yeah, you got a shot of this week's pick'em, redeeming yourself.
That's right.
All right, we'll go with this week's pick'em. We got some pretty good games this week. Starting off with Notre Dame at NC State, 12 o'clock ABC kickoff. Notre Dame is favored by 6.5 as it stands. Adam, who do you like in this matchup?
I think Notre Dame big, man.
Oh, big.
I think Notre Dame big. They look good again. I forgot who did they play last week, but it was somebody that they put up some points, man. I think they got a quarterback up there. Yeah. Sam Hartman is a veteran guy, and I don't know. I'm really excited about Notre Dame, Ohio State in a couple weeks. That's going to be interesting in South Bend. So I'm kind of right now, might regret saying this, I think the trajectory of Notre Dame's the green arrow pointing up, Clark. It's not the neutral bar. It's not the red arrow pointing down. I actually think we're a green arrow pointing up in Marcus Freeman's second year. Big jump from year 1 to year 2. So NC State, man, they went up Friday night. Was it Thursday night? Thursday night to Hartford, Connecticut. Up there and face Jim Moore Jr.'s UConn Huskies, who have been a very big bottom dweller in the Division I football for the past few years, and I think they struggled a little bit to come away with the win. So Brennan Armstrong, Virginia transfer quarterback for NC State, at NC State, give me Notre Dame, definitely to cover that. What, 8.5 points?
No, 6.5.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Give it to me, yeah.
I will also take Notre Dame, although I will say this, NC State does make if this were a night game, I might actually kind of lean towards NC State. Not winning outright, but at least covering.
You think?
Maybe.
Okay.
Potentially.
I don't know.
NC State at night. Is it Raleigh? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Right. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Look at me. I got one out
baby.
of 120, 130 something different FBS schools. I got their town, their location right.
Their college campus.
But I'll take Notre Dame. All right, Nebraska at Colorado. Ooh. Adam, I think tickets for this game are something like resale value is like $350.
There's a lot of hatred in this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is an underrated rivalry.
Well, I mean, and they hadn't played a lot, right? Because they used to play every year in the Big 12. And, I mean, you think about the 90s, both programs' peak was when, I mean, there were some bloodbaths with these two schools. And passionate. Nebraska's got one of the more passionate fan bases in the nation, man. Just sold out like a women's volleyball game at 80,000 in their football stadium last. I mean, there's nothing to do else in Nebraska besides that and harvest corn, starting up right now. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, heartbreaker, they lost to Minnesota Thursday night.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. It was a game-winning field goal there.
Yeah. So Matt Rule's first game didn't end good, but big game.
Yeah.
2 first-year head coaches, and then Colorado, Clark.
I'm telling you, 12 o'clock Fox, Colorado, this was very interesting. Nebraska, probably about a week ago, was favored by 9 points going into this game. Now it's totally flipped. Colorado is now favored by about 2 points. And that doesn't happen, I don't think. I'm not like a betting, gambling kind of person.
Right.
But I don't think you really see that big of a switch in a
People were impressed with Colorado,
spread.
Clark. People were impressed with Colorado, what they did to TCU, man. And I mean, golly, the Sanders kid putting up 500 yards passing,
So
breaking a school record. Travis Hunter is a stud.
Well, let me just say this. I was totally wrong about Colorado.
I was too.
And if I would actually kind of be scared to be in front of Deion Sanders because he said he kept receipts. And you know what, Adam? He may have listened to us on Row 60.
Yeah, he might have.
That.
We might be. Row 60 might be on there. See how far they dove into the into the interwebs.
They would have heard me say that Colorado was going to go 0-5
You
to start
did
the
say
season.
that, didn't you? And
That was a bold prediction. I did say it was at least bold.
That is true. Well, I didn't have any faith in them, man. And I mean, it's not like they're about to just go win the Pac-12,
No.
I don't think. But hey, they're a fringe bowl team. I don't
are.
think it's out of the consideration for them to be in postseason play. And I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not cheering for them to.
No, I'm not.
I'm not cheering for them. I hope Nebraska beats them, but you have to respect how they played Saturday, and that's what happens, man. I mean, yeah, you can say, well, they were 1-11, but they have 86 new guys in, so it's a whole brand new team, whole brand new culture. Deion's instilled, to his credit, that you have to they have to take into consideration. And I don't know, man. I think it'll be good to see. It's a program grounded enough to bounce back off of the high that they had week one from the coaching staff on down. Okay, say to have a team like Nebraska coming in, who just lost a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going Nebraska. I'm still
Shut
a hater.
up. No, you're
still
not.
a hater.
Oh man, I might be a believer. I'm going to go Colorado by about 5 points. I don't know exactly how the difference between 5 points, how that all works out in terms of scoring, but yeah.
All right.
Colorado by 5. Jeff Sims is now Nebraska's quarterback. He was a former Georgia Tech quarterback.
That's true.
He threw 3 picks against Minnesota. That tells me all I need to know. I think Travis Hunter is going to get a pick 6 in this game.
Okay.
Watch it.
No, I could be very wrong on that, man, but I don't know, man. It kind of just sets up, it kind of has that feel of a big win. Nebraska disappointed. You think they're down in the dumps, man. That you know, and you think you got that script figured out completely what's going to happen. And yeah, a lot of cases it do it, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I kind of think, and that Colorado big money. I don't know.
We'll see. Ole Miss.
Give me Big Red.
All right. Ole Miss.
I don't know why I did that, but hey, we'll see.
Okay. Ole Miss at Tulane, 3:30 ESPN 2. I don't know why there's like an ESPN 2. I guess there's just a lot of channels and a lot of sports that need broadcasting.
Yep.
Ole Miss is a 5.5-point favorite over the Tulane Green Wave. Adam, you like Tulane's jerseys,
I
don't
do
you?
like Tulane's jerseys. I think they're very sharp, man.
Yeah.
If they, and you know what, Clark, they're doing down there?
What's
they're
that?
actually winning too.
Yeah.
Not only are they looking good on the field, they're winning. They're winning ball games.
That's very
Willie
true.
Fritz got him a culture down there after he left Georgia Southern. Well, he's been there now, probably 7-8 years. But home game, big game for Tulane, sneaky game. But I don't think Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to be sleeping on them. I think they'll win. I don't think they'll beat them 73-7, but I think they will win this football game, Clark.
Yeah, this game will definitely be a shootout, I think. And it's going to be closer than what a lot of people think. Michael Pratt, Adam, is Tulane's quarterback. He had an absolute field day against South Alabama last week. He looked good.
Really?
Like,
I
actually.
didn't see the highlights of that.
I'll say this. If Tulane's line can protect him, I'm not going to say they're going to win this game. I think Ole Miss ends up winning this game by a touchdown. I think it is that close of a football game.
Yeah. Well, Clark.
But give me Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's not like that Tulane is scared of a Power 5 opponent coming to play them.
Right.
I mean, they just beat USC and Caleb Williams, a reigning Heisman Trophy winner in the Cotton Bowl last year. And, so I don't know, man. I mean, I think it will be a close game. It'll be a sneaky fun game to watch, but I still am going to lean towards Ole Miss and win.
Yeah, me too.
But wouldn't be surprised if Tulane upset.
Texas A&M at Miami, 3:30 ABC. Texas A&M stands right now as a 5.5-point favorite. Connor Wigman. Wigman. We're going to go with Wigman. This is A&M's quarterback versus Tyler Van Dyke of Miami. I would say this is a pretty evenly matched game just from what I know of these two teams.
Yeah.
Who do you like in this?
I'm going with A&M, man. I think they are going to win. They put up 52 points last week, albeit being New Mexico. But, Clark, it was the first time they've put up 52 points in 2 years.
You credit Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be if the offense gets to where they need it to be at to get to where they expect to be at, Clark, saying then yes, you have to credit Bobby Petrino because all I've heard is he is the guy, the primary play caller, and then you have Wigman at quarterback, and if he continues to develop, then yeah, you're gonna have to say it's Petrino. So I don't know, man. I don't know if that'll be Just if you'll see, they have to be better than they were last year on offense, Clark. They have to put up more points. And even with how poor they were offensively last year, they beat Miami in College Station. So I'm going to Texas A&M.
Okay. I'm going to go with Miami.
Too many dudes, man. Too many dudes at Texas A&M, I think, especially that defensive front. I just don't think Miami will put the points up.
We'll see. I'm going to go with Miami.
You're going to go with Miami.
Just because I don't like Texas A&M. I don't like Jimbo Fisher. And I definitely don't like Bobby Petrino.
There you go.
Texas at Alabama, the big one. Ooh. Alabama is right now a touchdown favorite.
Yeah.
7 o'clock ESPN. I'll just say Alabama's going to win, but it will be a fun game. It's going to be eventful. I think Alabama pulls away in the second half.
I agree, Clark. I agree. I'll be honest with you. The whole offseason, I was like, Texas is going to do it.
Oh, really?
Texas is going to do it, but that is flipped. I'm going with Alabama, especially in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Nick Saban does not lose many football games there in Bryant-Denny Stadium, and when he does, it's against very, very elite Joe Burrow-esque performance or football, and I just, as good as I think Quinn Ewers is, and as good as I think definitely in Austin last year, if he stayed healthy, they would have won that football game. I think that got the attention of Alabama this year, this reincarnation of them this year, and I think like you said, I think it'll be a pretty tight game up close up front, but I think in the second half that Alabama's depth will kick in, a little bit more talent there in Tuscaloosa, of course, than in Austin, and they'll pull away.
Yeah.
I think they'll run the ball good on them in the second half, kind of wear down that Texas defensive front and be able to get some big explosive plays on the ground, whether it be from the quarterback Milroe or their stable running backs they got.
We shall see. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Definitely will be home for that one after the Georgia Ball State game. Last but not least, a little Pac-12 after dark.
Ooh.
Auburn at California. This is an interesting matchup. 10:30 ESPN. Auburn is now a 5.5-point favorite. This will be a good game, Adam. California,
going over to Berkeley.
Yeah. Last week, California rushed for 357 yards against North Texas.
Wow.
Pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Respectable.
I might sound crazy. I'm going to do it. I want to take California with the upset.
Whoa.
Yeah. They're going to run the football.
You really think California is going to be the SEC team?
I don't know. Now I'm kind of regretting
Justin Wilcox.
I want it to happen. All right. I don't like Auburn.
I don't either, man. But give me Auburn.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be close.
It'll be close, surely.
I don't know, man. That will be. I mean, Justin Wilcox, he's a guy who can coach some defense, man. And but I just don't see Auburn going to. I hope it happens. I would love nothing more, but I'm going to go with Auburn to win it. But what an interesting match. Like, how did they schedule that one? Like, how did Auburn get to go to Berkeley, California to play?
My thing is, I think the time difference is going to get Auburn. That's my thinking.
Just like the altitude. And that what would it be called? What's the word? It's not the altitude that got Florida against Utah last week.
The altitude.
Would it be the altitude? But there was another word everybody's been using. The elevation.
Sure.
Yeah, the elevation.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Tomato.
Exactly.
Tomato, right?
Right. All right. Game of the week.
Ooh.
Here we go. We got Barton College Bulldogs at Davidson Wildcats. We're in North Carolina here, Adam.
Man, in the South.
Exactly. I don't know where Barton College is, but we got a great game. This kickoff is at 7 o'clock p.m. The weather, 86 degrees.
86 degrees. That's what the weatherman's saying. He's known to lie a little bit, Clark. So you take that at the bank, that's going to be?
I think it might be more like 83 at 7 o'clock.
All right, about kickoff. Yeah, so I got that.
We'll see. All right, some fun facts about these two schools. Barton College, they're a 3-year-old football program. Very young. They're in their toddler ages, if you will.
Wow.
Of football.
So both are Barton College.
Barton College, yes.
Oh, wow.
The Bulldogs.
Yes.
Last year they went 4-7. Not too hot.
Not bad for a second-year program, though.
Sure.
Right?
Right. This year they're 1-0 with a huge 41-0 shutout over Chowan. I think that's how you say it. Chowan. So started the year off pretty big.
Pretty good.
Their mascot's name is Blue, Adam. Blue the Bulldog. Let me show you a picture of Blue. What do you think about Blue?
I think Blue, I like the blue eyes. That's a good touch, man. That's a good touch. He looks like the Mack Bulldog that you would see for the Mack Trucking Company.
Sure.
You know?
The
Mack Trucks. So, I mean, I think that's a ripoff from Mack Trucks and with the gray Bulldog. But the blue eyes is a good touch. Spike collar, generic. Every Bulldog's got to have a spike collar. So, Barton, I think what they could do better with this guy, Clark, right here, it looks like it is a basketball scrimmage jersey from that they just ripped off of, like the inter squad scrimmages that just they ripped up. They could have done a better job getting a better jersey for this mascot right here. The tank top was just a generic, just Barton print across.
Yeah.
There's nothing flashy about that, man. It looks like it's a scrimmage jersey.
Yeah.
And I mean, surely they have enough money in the bank to like get a authentic game jersey on the mascot, right?
Yeah. I guess
Judging off this
should
picture.
be, yeah. Old Blue.
Old Blue. I mean,
like
great
it, though.
name. Great name.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
name.
Oh, yeah. So his name is Blue. Notable alumni, Adam, from Barton College.
Okay.
Ava Gardner. She dropped out, but she was a very.
How could she be an alumni?
I don't know. She was a
She
very.
went to the school. She went to the school.
Attended,
She
there you
attended
go.
at one point in time. Okay.
Exactly. She was a very famous actress in the golden age of Hollywood. Honestly, I read through all the films she was in. Didn't know one of them. I mean, stuff released in like, the 40s, 50s. I don't know. I mean,
Golden age, man.
I guess if you're in like a big cinema person, you would probably
know who
recognize.
Ava Gardner is.
Yep.
Did she drop out to go pursue, to get on a bus, get on old Greyhound and go?
Probably so,
Did
honestly.
she hitchhike across the country, man? You don't know. That'd be interesting to see. So that's a good story. That's a good
Somebody
story.
surely
She
has
dropped out
written
of college and went to Hollywood, man,
Yeah.
chasing the dream. Good on her.
Maybe
Good on
someone's
her.
written a biography.
Good on her. Good on her. That's right.
Another alumni, or alum, I should say. Alumni, I think is plural. Alum would be Jensen Franklin. He's a pastor out in Free Chapel in Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah.
You know,
I've heard
you know
of that old
Jensen
guy.
Franklin?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
You've probably
okay.
seen him and heard his stuff.
Interesting.
Their head coach is Chip Hester.
Great name.
Yeah, I like that name.
Great
Chip.
name.
Yeah, Chip is just a good name in general.
Good football coach's name.
Chip. Yeah.
Chip. Just like old Chip. I'm not going to say that. That's too.
Oh, boy.
I was going to say just old Chip off the block, man.
Oh, man, what a dad joke. You are truly a dad now, Adam. He took over Barton football in 2020, had to build this program from the ground
He
up.
did. I mean, when we talked about last week laying the foundation, this guy literally laid the foundation of this football program.
Exactly. If you want to wish Coach
Yes.
Hester good luck, we're going to keep this rolling.
Yes, we do.
This week, we're not going to pass out phone numbers. We're going to give you the email. I think that's a better form.
That is good. That is
a better
good.
way of communicating with these people. It's lbhester@barton, barton.edu.
Well, we need to find out what his real name is because now we know it's not Chip.
Right.
I'm going to go as Luther.
Luther?
Luther, LB, Luther, and then a B middle name.
Yeah, Chip is like in parentheses.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's a nickname.
Luther, whatever.
Bobby.
Luther, Bradley, Chip,
Hester. Boom.
something like that. I guarantee you. Or Lester.
So that's
Lester Hester.
yeah. That's the Barton College Bulldogs.
I'm sorry, I'm off. That's
You're
so
good.
dumb.
Davidson Wildcats, Adam.
All right.
You're going to know one of these notable alumni.
What? Yeah, okay. All right. Go ahead.
There were 0-1 to start the season. Okay.
Okay.
So they lost 7-12 against Virginia Military Institute last week. Not a great way to start the season.
No,
that's a close
man.
game.
Yeah.
Mascot history. Davidson used to have an actual wildcat, Adam, roaming the sidelines in the 1960s.
Wow.
Okay,
Was
listen.
it in a cage?
No, it was not.
So it's not like Mike the Tiger at LSU and in a cage.
No, I think it was actually on a leash or something.
Okay.
I had a collar or
man.
something. Who knows? Back in 1892, there were rumors about a wildcat prowling the campus late at night that prompted a few students to prank a buddy using some wire and rags. Sounds like a great time. Davidson's first live wildcat, Felix, arrived around 1921, but died in 1924. God rest his soul.
These
mascots just don't last long.
They did not know how to keep animals alive. They don't know how to keep these mammals alive, man.
No. 6 months later, Felix too arrived, a female some students called Felicia. I like that. Okay. I guess that's a play on Felix there.
Yeah.
Felicia. During games, the cat shrieked from a cage. Can you imagine?
That made the hair. I mean, have you ever heard like a cat like shriek in the middle of the night? I'm not necessarily a wildcat or a bobcat. It's a piercing sound. Like it'll make you stop and pause, be a little hesitant.
Yeah,
a little hesitant in a hurry.
Well, could you imagine being under center as a quarterback, trying to, ready, set, and then
it's
just
a piercing noise.
It might cause some of the guys a false start.
You might ought to put that in a clip of, I don't care, just some type of cat shrieking in the night. Because I mean, if you've never heard it before, like you can't appreciate this because it is. Whew,
all right, I will put it right here.
All right, good deal.
At home in a layer next to the gymnasium.
Layer?
Yes, in a layer next to the gymnasium. She was fed live, fully grown hens.
Oh, no. Not the poultry. Not the poultry.
God bless the chickens.
Oh, man.
Oh,
God
man.
put them on earth for a reason,
That
man.
is
That's
true.
fair.
Be eaten. Oh, man. So beloved was faithful Felix and Felicia that after she died, the animal was stuffed and mounted. She's
What?
still,
No.
listen to this, she's still on display at the Baker Sports Complex. I don't know where that is, but
She's there.
she's there. If anybody wants to go see Felix and Felicia. Oh, my gosh. Next came,
man.
so I guess this is kind of like UGA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have Felix, Felicia, Min, M-I-N, Tom,
Where did
I don't know, Felix 3, and in 1961, Peter. Peter was the last live Wildcat, and rumor has it he never did scratch or call anybody.
So they threw that tidbit in there that he was never an aggressive Wildcat.
No.
And I don't know if I would like that out of my mascot. I want my
Right.
mascot to be aggressive.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
is that- wow. So they just said after Peter must have been so bad. They just said they ended it after that.
I
so
think
we're
so.
done.
I think
We're
so.
done.
And they resorted to this guy, and I don't know his
Oh,
name,
yes.
but this is their mascot. And I think they have two different versions, one being like a football. This is the football version. But then they've got this one, Adam.
What, they have two
And I think this one's their basketball
the
version.
whiskers. Look at the whiskers on that thing, Clark.
They're like a foot long.
I mean, the other Wildcat looks like it has a mange.
Yeah,
That's the proper terminology, right?
right.
A mange. The Wildcats have manges,
I have no idea.
but that one right there. Look at the teeth.
Yeah. His what are these called?
I don't know.
It's like vampire teeth.
Yeah, that's
scissor.
I mean,
I don't know.
which one do you prefer? Which one? I prefer that one.
I
That
kinda
guy
like,
right
yeah, I
there.
kind of like this guy too. Yeah.
Amazing nose structure.
Yeah.
But then this guy right here just looks like he's having a good time. he's
Oh,
the
man.
athletic shorts, man. What in the world? Again,
Yeah.
what is up with these colleges not giving the proper clothing? You spend all this time on prepping the mascot head
Right.
and the body assembly of it, but then you clothe them in the most generic, awful school attire.
Yeah. That's lame. They need to step it up. So,
But that's good. That's good gold
Oh, yeah.
mascots right there.
some notable alumni from Davidson College. President Woodrow Wilson. He stayed for 1 year and then
Oh,
went to
Woody Wilson.
Princeton. So,
And went to man.
yeah, it's
Dang.
transferred to Princeton.
Princeton. Then
Yeah.
became
I
president.
think he got an NIL deal there. Steph Curry also went
That's
to
right.
Davidson.
I knew that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking this whole entire time. Wait a minute. Is that the Davidson that he played at? And
It
in
sure
there?
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about that?
Their head coach is Scott Abell. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
Scott Abell.
A bell.
So you can wish him luck by emailing football@davidson.edu. They do not give out any kind of personal, phone numbers or even their
Not like they do
business
in
phones.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So
you
it's-
can email them.
Yes. So football@davidson.edu.
And you know they're going to see your message.
Oh,
if
they
you do
will?
They're 100% going
Oh,
to see
it
it.
will
I
not get
encourage-
lost.
I encourage everybody to let them know again that the Row 60 podcast was talking about this matchup on the gridiron and give them best wishes. Give them your best wishes.
Absolutely. Davidson leads this series. Last few things 1-0 against Barton. Yep. The last year's score was 37-17. Davidson smacked them last year.
Dang.
Davidson also currently has a 13-game win streak at home, and that is where this game of the week will be played, is in Davidson, North Carolina. Wow. So with that said, Adam, seems like a pretty clear choice here. Who are you going with?
That was Davidson.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Well, as much as I would love Barton to had a big signature win right here, program changing win, I'm definitely going with Davidson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Davidson
Because this is the first school I've ever heard of in these games ever.
Yeah.
So give me Davidson.
Davidson. Big?
Yeah.
What'd you say about 20 points, Big?
41-10.
41-10. I like that.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay. All right. I'll go 37-7. So good defense being played by Davidson.
I like it. Good times right there, Clark. Another good one, man. It's always just interesting that you have no idea this is going on in the country, but people need to appreciate it and respect it. Clark, another good job of just diving down and just give us the hard-hitting facts that we love with these segments,
Well,
man.
Thank you.
That was great. That was great.
Takes,
I always love, and they debuted the mascot critique, too, this year.
Yeah.
We forgot to do it with the Kangaroos last week.
That is true.
No, that was good. Those were some good ones, man.
Well, hey, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, podcast, whatever you're listening
Please,
on.
that helps with the algorithm.
Exactly. Yes, it really does.
It helps with the algorithm.
It really does.
I don't know what it does, but it does something with those algorithms. I don't even know what the algorithm is, but it helps with it.
Yeah.
I know, so.
Hey, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube if you're not already. That would also help us, and that helps you never miss another episode of Row 60 or some of the other stuff we've got coming this season. Drop a YouTube comment below if you're on YouTube and tell us what you think about Mike Bobo in this offense. We do want to hear your opinion.
Everybody's opinion we want to hear on it, man. And we respect everybody's opinion.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to Sanford this week again, so come stop by, see us.
Section 108, row 60. Please come see us. I have some stickers to pass out. Love to shake your hand and chat with you, man. So we want to meet everybody who listens to us and would love to meet us, man. So please swing by.
Do it. Georgia Vol State. Why am I saying Vol State?
Clark, you all right, man?
I think
I'm kind of worried about you this episode. I'm kind of worried about you. Just looking at you, you look a little pale over there.
I'm a little tired. I got to be honest.
I'll be honest with you. I've kind of thought the whole entire episode. I'll just go ahead and say it. I was going to say it when we got our headset off. I'm concerned. It's like you're kind of fading in and out over there.
I might be a little dehydrated. See, I drank all my cherry Coke, and I didn't drink any of my water. So I'm going to have to rehydrate.
That's what got you. Okay.
Yesterday was a little hotter than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Anyway, Georgia versus Ball State, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, SEC Network. Adam, I'm going to give you my score prediction. Then you give me yours, and then you can wrap this up. You know what? Last week I said Georgia was going to beat UT Martin by 52 points, 52-0. And that didn't happen.
Right.
But this week it is going to happen. So I'm going to stick with the same exact score from last week, 52-0. We get rolling on offense. It looks a lot sharper this week, and we're going to dominate.
Woo! I love it, Clark. Yep. I love it, man. Hey, it's a weird time right now because you usually don't go from a game like Tennessee Martin with that opponent to Ball State. So it's a little bit of a lull right now. Not a lot of just high energy even coming from it right now. And then, everybody's in turmoil with the program, but hey, that don't matter, man. Georgia's going to get better. Georgia is the standard still in college football. And for what I saw Saturday, nothing changes that, Clark. Nothing changes that. This is going to be a dang good football team and a dang good year. And, hey, man, we got another no-name school coming in, but it's another opportunity to grow and progress as a team, man. I'm excited to see it. Everybody come out to Sanford Stadium. Will be a beautiful day. Noon game. Not going to get home late. Bring the family out to it, man. It's a family game. So come, bring your loved ones. Come see us, man. Georgia is going to win this football game. They're going to score a touchdown on the opening offensive drive and not look back, Clark. 56-10. Give me Georgia breaking. Hey, no, let me change that, Clark. Let me change that to 59-10. Let me stick in a field goal right there.
Wow.
So, I don't know, man. I just feel like we're going to execute more, and it's going to be something. Ball State gets a late touchdown off Georgia's second and third string younger guys in there. So it's going to be a fun day at Sanford Stadium. One more. Hey, get through this one. Get to 2-0. Keep the injury bug away, Clark, and then, hey, guess who's coming to town after that? Our good friend Shane Beamer of the South Carolina Gamecocks to kick off the SEC schedule, man. I can't wait. Football is here. We're in full swing. Contact us. Let us know what you think. Have a blessed and safe week. Go out there. Spread some joy in your family and your community and as in the workplace, man. It's going to be a great time to be a Georgia Bulldog. We're blessed. Go Dogs,
Go Dogs.
baby.